Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Binman and today you are tuned in for another Vogue inspired makeup look. I went into my local library and I found the November 2021 issue with the lovely Adele on the cover, and today we are doing this makeup look. Alright, let's get started with Adele's look for Vogue. So as always, we are going to prep the skin. I've already done my skincare, so now I'm ready to prime. So I'm going to use my NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eye Base all over the lid, taking it from the lash line and just really gently moving it up to the brow. I'm not putting it in my brows, but I am taking it just underneath. And just making sure that's nice and smooth. If you get the tinted version, make sure that the tone matches your skin. Don't go too dark, don't go too light. And if you get the clear version, make sure that when you put it on the skin, it doesn't leave a funny silicone-y look. I have put that one on some skin tones and it didn't quite work so well, so I'm thrilled that they came out with a tinted one. Now I'm just using my Bobbi Corrector. Don't worry, I have another one in reserve, ready to go. Nordstrom had a sale on all the Estee Lauder brands, so I made sure to snag mine during that sale. And I'm just getting right in that inner corner to make sure I'm getting that purple that happens in the inner corner right here at the nose. Okay, our skin is primed and now we are ready to go in. So this is kind of like a 60s eye look. It's almost a cut crease. It's like a softer cut crease that we've got going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the skin a little bit and then pop up to the eyes, and then I'll finish the skin. So we'll go in with our concealer from Armani in shade 4. I am thinking about bumping up a shade because this gives me a nice highlight underneath my eye, but I am starting to feel like it is a little bit too light. Sometimes if you go lighter with your concealer, that can have the opposite effect of what you want to do, especially if you have any puffiness underneath the eye. Because remember, anytime something is lighter and brighter, the eye will just naturally go toward that, whatever that is. And if it's too light and you have puffiness underneath the eye, then that's where you're gonna go first. Okay, so we've cleaned that up a little bit, and now let's start going in with the eye. So this looks like a nice kind of mix between some mauve-y pinks and like a Swiss chocolate with maybe a little bit of a warmer color all over the lid. So let's start there. I'm going to take my 201 BK Beauty brush. I'm going to go in with Soft Brown from MAC. And I'm just going to put that all over the lid and then bring up any extra into that outer third, because there's definitely a buildup on the outer half of the eye with the color. So I'm starting in the middle of the eye and then I'm just really lightly sweeping any extra up into the crease. Just to get down a little bit of pigment. This eye definitely has a little bit more. So more so on the tip of the 201, I'm going to go back and just even that out a little bit more. Every time I look at this picture, I kind of switch between, no, it's a little bit cooler, no, it's a little bit warmer. So just kind of keep that in mind too if you are recreating looks. Sometimes, you know, when they go through the editing process, they fiddle with the tones of the colors. They amp up blues in the shadows typically, and they amp up yellows in the highlights, again, typically. So what you're seeing might not actually be 100% what it looked like. So please keep that in mind. And as always, be kind to yourself. Okay, she definitely has a very sharp angle here, just with shadow though. There's really no liner, but she is wearing lashes. So I'm going to start going in with a slightly darker shade, and I think I'm going to go in with Kid on my 217 and just in my crease, and I'm going to try to relax my face, because when you're doing a lot of detail work, it's good to make sure you're not doing like a surprised face or anything too bananas, because then your eyeshadow is going to droop. And then I'm flipping my brush more on the side, and I'm just softening the edge. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my, actually I'm going to go in with my pencil brush, because this is going to give me the most detail and the biggest bang. And I'm going to go in with Swiss Chocolate, and I'm going to start on the outer part of the eye. I should probably use a mirror. That's a little bit closer. I'm almost acting like I am going to do a liner, and then just bringing that up onto the bone or the crease. So because of the way that my eyes are shaped, more of a rounded version looks a little bit better on me, but we are going to try to stay a little bit truer. So I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take nothing extra on my brush. I already put my concealer down, and they wrap this darker shade all the way to that inner part. So now I'm just going to bring this down and angle it just a little bit more. I have a decent gap between my lower lash line and my upper lash line on that outer corner. So I usually don't do something like this, because again, for my eye shape, it's not as flattering. But we are just going to go for it. And that shadow on the lower lash line is pretty defined, so we don't want to mess with that too much. Okay, and I definitely want to create a much darker crease. It is very cut creasy. And again, they brought that in pretty far. So I will also do that, and then just switching back to my 217. Just blending any bits that maybe went astray. Okay. I'm going to take a clean 217, and I can see that I have a gap between my lash line and my initial color that I put down. So I'm just going to fix that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Still gonna fiddle with this a little bit. Fiddle with the angle. Yeah, I can just bring my shadow up quite a bit higher, again, because of my eye shape. So if you have an eye shape that's a little bit closer to Adele's, then you're going to be focusing more this way, where I'm having to round mine out quite a bit more. Okay, then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, we're using Swiss chocolate almost like we're going to do a flick, but then instead of doing a flick, we're bringing it up into the crease. And then we're going to soften that. Let's do that first. I like bouncing back and forth between both of the eyes, because if I do a whole eye and then try to go back in and make sure that they're both even, it just seems like a little bit of a disaster. And you always do one eye a little bit better than another eye. Which is why it takes a little bit of practice to get things even. Yeah, this one's much more angular. I'm going to take a little bit of soft brown and just soften the top of that a little bit. And then back in with my Swiss chocolate. And I'm going to bring that line all the way in. Okay. I'm going to go back in with my clean 217 and just soften the edges. I have a mirror set up beyond the camera so I can really see from far away and up close. And when you're doing a look that's a little bit more detailed like this, that's what you really need. Okay. The nice thing about doing an eye look like this is that you can kind of start it here, and then as you finish the rest of your face, if you need to tweak it, you can. Now it looks like she doesn't have any shimmer on her actual lid except in the inner corner. So I'm going to save that until after we powder, otherwise I'm just going to cover up that shimmer. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla because it looks like she's got a nice highlight. Could actually be the same thing. It kind of reminds me of maybe Shroom, or not Floof, probably Shroom, on my 203, and I'm just gonna go under that. So vanilla has just a touch of shimmer, but I honestly, I wouldn't call it a matte and I wouldn't call it a shimmer. I would probably call it a satin, which is I'm sure what Matt calls it. Okay, we're gonna leave the eyeshadow alone for a moment. We're gonna see what's going on once we put on our lashes. That's something to remember too, that your look is going to look different once your lashes are on and once you get that mascara. things that didn't seem balanced before might balance themselves out. So we're just doing a tight line. Okay. This look is really great for green eyes, especially just because of that Swiss chocolate. It's gonna look good on everybody, like any eye color, but it's especially good with green eyes. Okay, because I'm doing lashes and there's no liner, we're just gonna go straight into our primer, our lash primer, because it looks like she has really nice natural lashes. So I'm gonna get that primer on, and it looks like they put on a lot of mascara, even on the lower lash line. Yeah, it's definitely harking back to that initial cut crease makeup look. That was really popular around like Twiggy, kind of the end of Audrey Hepburn's makeup. If you saw my tutorial on how to steal a million with her day look, it's very similar to that, but it's definitely softer. We're not going with the extremes of shadows, but we are playing with similar techniques. And then going in with my Smokey Eye Mascara from the lovely Bobbi, Brun. And going heavier on the bottom lash line. It looks like she might have a little bit of a peach or a nude liner on the inside of her lower waterline. I do not have one at the moment, so we're just gonna go for it and pretend that I do. My eyes are kind of behaving, so I think it'll be okay. Holding up that mascara, because that was kind of the look back then. Okay, we're all done with that, and now we're gonna put on some lashes. So even without the lashes, you can already see that it doesn't look quite so like, whoa, as it did before. I have some Sephora lashes, and I'm going to use the Duo, let's see, this is the brush on adhesive with vitamins. This is my favorite. It turns color, it changes color. It's fast drying. But when you put it on, it kind of looks like an iridescent blue purple. And you have a little bit of wiggle room before it dries. I'm definitely gonna go back in with a little bit of a liquid liner and just fill in any gaps that kind of happened. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on the other eye. I always like to line up the middle of the lash first when I put it on, and just kind of get that secure. And you can absolutely use tweezers if you feel like, you know, whoops, it's not working. If you feel like you have to completely start over, wait until it dries. Like if it's in that kind of tacky in between, just wait until it dries, try to pull it off, pull off all the glue that you can that's on the lash line, and try it again. Okay, we're gonna leave the eyes alone for a moment. We're gonna do the rest of the face, let the lashes kind of sit on the skin, and then we will come back and fill in wherever we need to. All right, we're gonna take our foundation and do our dots, blend that out using my really fluffy Sephora brush. If you're looking for these brushes that look like mine are super, super old. I do not have the newest version, but I bet that the technology is pretty similar. And the brush itself is pretty similar. But again, if you take care of your brushes last forever. Because I haven't worked at Sephora in a very long time. Okay. Her skin looks like skin. It doesn't need a lot of foundation like when we were doing the Audrey Hepburn one, where it was a little bit more pancakey, a little bit heavier. So I'm going to go in with my highlighter because she definitely has highlight going on. And she also has, I can't tell if it's like blush being used as a bronzer or if it's supposed to be a contour that has a little bit of pink in it, but it does look kind of pinky brown. And it looks like she doesn't really have blush on. So we're doing our best. Okay. I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to powder first. Actually, I'm going to add just a touch because she does have quite the highlight underneath her eyes. And I mean, she looks like she's pretty sculpted. With her makeup. And I'm actually going to go in with a Bobbi Brown brush and just really push that in. Because I don't really want to blend it out. I don't want to diffuse it. I just want to press it into the skin. But my fingers have been working and now it feels like maybe they're a little full. So finding a brush that can act like a finger and really just push that product in when you need it is going to be your friend for, again, when you're doing more complicated looks. All right, before I powder, I'm going to do my brows, and then we're going to take a step back after powdering. And her brows are pretty dark in this picture. So we're going to go for it. So I'm using Sandstone and I think, what is this? Is this concrete? No, this is Brun. I'm using Sandstone and Brun. She has a little bit of warmth in there. I might add a little bit of soft brown too. Comb through at the end. Yeah, she's definitely not cool with the coloration. And I'm just going between the two. I'm just tapping into both colors so that it doesn't get overly heavy. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this because when I turn my head, I have a little bit of a glow from my lights. And it's hard for me to see what's actually going on over there. Okay. I would say we definitely need a little bit of warmth. So with the same brush, I'm just going to tap in to soft brown and just kind of pull that through add that little bit of warmth. Use my precision powder brush from BK Beauty with my sheer finishing powder in pale yellow. And we are really gonna powder through the center of the face because she looks like she's pretty matte. She's been sculpted, but she's very matte through the center. And that is probably just for photography. Getting a good picture of glowy skin is actually quite difficult, especially through the center face. I feel like oftentimes you just end up looking sweaty. Okay, that looks good. She might have some sculpting on her nose, I'm not sure, so why don't we take a little bit of our bronzer. I'm just kind of brushing off any excess on my 201. I'm going to take a little bit of my Natasha Denona bronzer, and I'm going to start right here and bring that down. You can see I'm just very lightly adding a little bit of a shadow on the side of my nose, so my nose looks a little bit longer. And it just helps kind of define what is happening. Okay. Her contour is definitely defined, so I'm not going to use my bronzer brush. I'm going to go in with my powder blush brush from MAC. Again with the bronzer. And I'm just going to let the tip of the brush kind of do the work. And then I can press down a little bit more to blend. So again, tip of the brush. Blending as we go. Doesn't look like they brought up the contour too far. So I'm just really lightly going along my hairline, although it does look like they got her forehead. You don't have to contour everywhere. And then I'm going to bring that down on my neck too. All right. So now everything is starting to make a little bit more sense, and we are going to go back to the eyes and see if we need to fill in any gaps between the lashes. So I'm going to go in with my Stila Liquid Stay All Day because I know that I have a gap over here. And you know what? That just happens sometimes. So again, you could start over, or you can just fill in the gap and move on. You'll be able to see that huge difference the closer you get. So our skin is looking really good. I think now what we need to do is just go back in with a little bit of that Swiss chocolate on a 217, just really lightly amp that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in with my 203 with some rice paper and just put that on that inner corner. Again, rice paper isn't a huge shimmer, but that's what it looks like is going on in her inner corner. Okay, now we get to the lips. So I don't have any lip liner because it's just really not my thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Spirited Away as my lip liner because she looks like she has some. And then I'm going to go in with Rose Official And then we're gonna go in with a little beauty. So we're kind of making it work. And Adele has good lips. So I'm going to go just above my lip, my natural lip line. Okay, you can tell that that is kind of like a lip liner look. So now we're going to go in with Rose Official. Okay. And then we're just going to put a little bit of beauty in the center. Okay, we're going to zhuzh our hair. All right, and that is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this Vogue inspired makeup tutorial with Adele. She's such a fabulous artist and the makeup done on her was so beautiful. I had to go for it. You can totally wear this look for every day, but maybe just take it down a notch and definitely make sure that it fits your face. I really tried to stay true to the picture that I was looking at, but if I was doing this on myself for every day, I would not be quite so angular on the eyes. I would do a little bit more round and I would just go with maybe a slightly less fussy lip. But anyways, I really love the makeup. I hope you do too. And I do fashion videos every Wednesday. I do beauty videos every Friday. And on the blog, it's just a fun chit chat day. So thank you again for watching. Hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up and I'll see you very soon. Bye.